What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning back in today for another deck profile. And this one, we got an interesting one for you. I'm with here with one of the legends himself, as always, Tyson Earls. What's going on, my man?
Not much, Jimmy, yourself?
Man, we're always on the grind, aren't we?
Was.
Always. So this is a really awesome profile because it brings to us today, guys, the recent buddy battle event that took place last night. So it was a team, basically like a team battle, right? Right,
Yeah,
Ty?
so
Yeah,
2v2. Yeah, you
2v2.
get player A, player B, and then you just sort of smash it out between two teams.
Awesome, man. And what was the shop again that this was taking place?
Tech's on Geelong.
Oh, Geelong.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's in Victoria.
That's awesome. And yeah, so the man was piloting Smoker, and your partner was piloting Blurple Croc, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's it. And he's going to showcase the profile. So what I'll do is I'll hand it over to you, my man. You can take it away from here.
No worries. So, essentially, what we went into it with was, it
Mm,
was, yeah, we're going to do a fun locals buddy battle event, but we also obviously wanted to win. And we figured that being able to play Smoker with what it does, and then with Blurple Crocodile, I can go really hard with all of my aggressive pieces and KO boards. I can be happy sitting on no cards in hand. And then the Blurple Crocodile player can just defend myself the entire game and keep my board alive. Anything that can't be KO'd by skills, they'll be trying to KO it with their attacks, so he'll just defend them like crazy. And
yeah,
that's how it worked.
that's really good.
Um, Matches we ended up doing 3 rounds because the pair down lost, which is great because we did not want to play a fourth round. But essentially we went into 3 rounds. The first round was versus Luffy and Zoro. And how we did it was Blurple Crocodile was player A, so they go first always, no matter what. And I was player B, so I go second because I curve out better on second. And how 2v2s essentially work is you roll your dice, we just determine who goes first and second, and obviously it's just player A on whatever team goes first, then player A goes first again. They both don't draw a card and they both only get one don.
Yep.
Then player B goes second, and then they both get two don, and they both draw a card. So you're always going second, whether or not you win or lose a dice roll, if you're player B.
Okay.
So it works out really well because I can just get all my defensive or my aggressive four cost pieces out, and yeah, start smashing it out by turn 2.
You can start building the
Um,
board and get everything
yeah,
set up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, Luffy and Zoro round 1. Luffy and Zoro was pretty easy matchup actually because I just
Oh,
KO'd everything on the field.
yep.
They play Robins, I KO them. They play anything, I KO them. It's just all that was. Yeah, they actually took one life of us the entire game. So we were still at four. We were still at 4 life because you lose 2 life each as well. We were at 4 life the entire game. Basically, we lost one.
You're kidding.
And
You're
yeah,
kidding. And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
against Luffy and Zoro, you're telling me right now.
Yes, yeah. They didn't take. They took
Wow.
1 life, and it was only because we let them. um, they swung. They played a 5 cost Luffy to try and get a second damage in. Like, okay, we're gonna play a 5 cost Luffy,
Yeah.
and we're gonna guarantee a second damage. So when 12k Luffy rush the Blurple Croc player, so we counted out to 13k, just then lost our whole hands just to be able to say no, you didn't, and then we swung for game next. So pretty fun way to do it.
I love it.
Yeah, the next one we played against, which is a really weird combination. It was Ivankov and King, and it was the hardest match we had of the entire game. We only won because the Ivankov player misplayed. Both Blurple Croc and myself, we drew horrendous hands.
Yeah.
But essentially, the King player had a 10 cost Kaido in hand for forever. And he couldn't play it because basically the Ivankov player played 2 9 cost Mihawks, and that's so much value lost if you 10 cost Kaido.
Yeah.
He also played a buggy turn 1, so I constantly had a plus 2k from my leader off of the buggy. So it came down to basically we were both at 0 life. It was win and that's it. Yeah, that term. I swung 7k. They counted out of it. I swung 9k with the Borsalino. They took it, and then I swung 9k with leader or 10k with leader, and they had to take it because like 3 cards in hand.
Yeah. Wow.
And that
Okay.
was the only reason we won. Oh, and I got a shockwave out of life to kill one of their blockers. That's that's what it was.
That's wild.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. The next game we played was a weird one. It was Luffy and Kinemon. And it's pretty hilarious because the Blurple Croc player, they had like 3 Hell's Judgments in hand the entire game. And so the green player, the Kinemon player, played like 2 Yamatos, and every time he'd swing with a Yamato, he just Hell's Judgment and he'd lose 2 attackers.
Okay.
So
Yep.
he'd draw a card of Hell's Judgment, he'd neg 2 cards, He'd keep my board clear, and then the same thing with Luffy. He'd Love Mallow, draw 2 cards. He'd stack his deck, draw a card. It was insane. And essentially, it came down to them. They took like 2 life of us because we let them. Again, we were like 3 life at the end of the game. And then I was like, cool, I'm just gonna go all in on an attack. And if they get out, they get out. We win next turn, and they couldn't get out. But essentially, we were never losing that game.
Seems like you had control on most of these games, right? Like
Except for the Ivankov
guides.
matchup, yeah.
Yeah,
The
you
Ivankov
guys
and
had the
King
right.
was the
Yeah.
hardest matchup.
Yep.
But yeah, if we actually opened decent, we still won that matchup because Blurple Croc and Smoker playing together is cracked. And the best part is because you can also give a Don on your opponent's side to a character. So I'd say I had a 10 cost in hand. I'd play the 10 cost, and my opponent would give me a Don onto my leader, so then I can still activate my leader's effect to gain plus 1k.
Oh, so you can share Don as well.
Yeah. So you can actually give Don to your parents' characters and leaders and stuff. So
Oh wow! So you
he can
guys
float
essentially
Dons.
got 20 Don between you. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
you guys, okay. Can you pay the costs for each other's cards or not?
You can't pay the cost for each other's
Okay.
cards, but you can
Yeah.
counter out of cards for each other,
Yeah.
and you
Right.
can
Cool.
block for each other as well.
That's awesome. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it, man.
So those are the matchups. I'll jump into the deck real quick.
Yeah. Get into the profile. Let's see this.
Yeah.
Let's see this bad boy.
Smoker leader, obviously really good leader. I think Smoker's great, and in the right hands, he can do really well. Just without a searcher, it's hard if you brick. That's all it really is. Otherwise, it's so strong.
Okay.
So leader is Dom minus times 1. Activate main, you do once per turn. You give a character -1 power or -1 cost, and it gains 1k if it's a 0 cost on field. Simple leader, but it can do a lot of damage. Don, obviously, you run 10 Don. You can't run any less. You run the 3 10 cost Kuzans. I was originally running 2. I was running 0 to be honest, and I've just gradually put more and more in. So I've come to love the card. Playing it and then negging everything 5 on the board and then killing a 0 cost is really good, especially when you're double dropping it. So if you've got like a Kuzan out on field, you swing Kuzan, neg a Whitebeard, and then drop this, and it's dead. And you've got a constant pressure on the field for 10k.
It's a huge card. Maximum
Yeah.
value. Yeah.
You run the 4 Sakazukis. Really great card as well. Being a 7k, it's huge, and you can play it on turn 3 if you're going second, and I'm always going second in buddy battles. So essentially, you can play a Kuzan again, swing, neg something, swing Clay Sakazuki, and kill it as well. Or you can just start killing bigger threats that are harder to kill normally, and it's just a kill a 5 or less by discarding a card on play. 6 or 7k, a really huge card. Card I've cut down to 3 because it's I want to see it, but not too much. Is the 5 cost Smoker. Really great card, but if you see too many of them, it really hurts. But effectively, it's just a 7 cost 5k that can't be carried by skills, so really good into like purple. It's a double attack if you got a 0 cost on field, and you got a Don under it. So you just 2 damage for 8k is huge. They're either discarding 3 or 4 cards at a hand, or they're losing 2 life, which is massive.
Yeah, it's like probably one of my favorite cards for black, I'd say, just because you just can't get rid of it. It sticks on the board, and a double attack right there. It's huge.
It's amazing. You got 4 Kuzans as well. Kuzan's really good because you're either using it as a discard to offer like Kobe or Sakazuki, or to draw, and it negs 4. So what I like to do against like red, the turn before they play Whitebeard, I'll play a Kuzan and I'll draw a card so it's replacing itself. And then they've got a choice to either a Jet Pistolet and they can't play Whitebeard, or they play Whitebeard and pray I don't have a Sakazuki in hand. So I just swing neg 4 Sakazuki and kill the Whitebeard.
Yeah. And
it throws them off every time, and that's how I've won multiple games with just those 2 cards alone. Now we go into the Borsalinos. Obviously, Borsalino's just a great all-round card. It's a blocker. It's a 6k on your opponent's turn and can't be KO'd on your opponent's turn. Just pray you don't get Jet Pistol out of life. That's all I gotta say.
such a good card, that Borsalino, and
it really is.
Might I add the fact that you got all old arts happening here. This guy, man.
I do.
That's insane. This deck is awesome.
We do have 4 Kobe's. Yes, one of them is finalist. I want to get 3 more. Essentially, as we know what Kobe does, 3 costs 4k, which is fine because you can put it under it and attack. But the main effect is, you discard a card and KO 3 or less. So Smoker leader can go, okay, you got a 4 cost like Black Maria on field, for example. You neg it and then Kobe it, and that's how I killed a Black Maria against the King player. Just a really great card effect. You go 4 Smoker. People for some reason run 3. I don't think that's a good idea. It's a counter at the end of the day. Can't be carried by effects. And enters Zoro and stuff, especially when you've got the 10 cost out, it's a constant 6k threat in your turn.
Yeah, it's a huge card.
Exactly. I run 4 Toshigi. People are running 3. I don't know why. It's a 2k counter. I want as many as I can get, so I run 12 2k counters. And that's all it is. It's 2k counter. The main effect doesn't matter because you never really play it. It's like once in a blue moon, but you just rest it and give something 2k -2 cost.
Yeah.
You run the 4 Garp, just a 2k counter, but really great into something like Law because you just don +2 it, you swing and you KO 0 cost. Is it 0 cost or 1 cost? Yeah, 0 cost.
And
So your leader
yeah.
effect, nega blocker, kill the blocker.
And you're gonna get there easy with the Kuzan and the or both
Yeah,
Kuzans and all that, so it's just
100%. Yeah. Um, just a 2 cost blocker, really good card. People say to run the one that's like 3k, but because you can swing with it, but there's you're never swinging with it. The card's either dying the turn you play, the turn after you play it,
mm,
or you've got it for another turn. Like they've either got a card to kill it, or they don't. You just don't lose a life. I've been trialing the starter deck Helmeppo over the set Helmeppo. The
okay.
set Helmeppo I really, really like because you can trigger and play it, and it negs something 2 cost on swing. It goes per 5k if it's a 0 cost on the field. The thing I like about this card is on play, you neg something for 3 cost. So you can neg an 8 cost kid and then play a Sakazuki. And that's 8 Don, and you've still got 2 to play with. So you can keep up for a Shockwave, or you can put 2 under leader, or do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I've been liking this card a lot, and I'm probably going to stick to it instead of the Helmeppo. Next 4 you got is obviously just a 2k Suru. Suru's again really good card. Yeah, on play you neg 2 on a card, and that's it. But it's 2k counter, a really huge card.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's just another plus 2k counter as well as the good effect for 1 Don. So it's really,
Exactly. Yeah,
it's just all a plus right there.
it's Black's Otama basically.
Yeah.
4 Shockwave because it's sort of mandatory. I think this card's the best card in the game by what it does. It's so good. Anyone that says this card isn't good is cracked because a plus 4k for 2, you kill a card that's 3 cost or less on field and active, and a trigger to kill a 4 costs or less is huge.
Yeah,
This
it's
card is
massive.
cracked, and if you can play it right, it is the best card in the game.
It's full value. It's so good. It
Yeah,
just clears board and gives you that. I mean, the plus 4k is huge. So
yeah. And the worst card in the game is Meteor Volcano. I played it one of because the trigger's cool, or you kill a blocker. It's cool, but like that's it. The card really isn't great. I just don't have another card to put in, and I don't want to put a 4th 10 cost in. I don't want to buy a 4th alt 10 cost.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it makes sense to run like a media volcano and stuff in that place, even though it's not really the
Exactly,
best. So
yeah.
no, that's
Because
awesome.
people are playing 2 of this and 3 Tashigi, and I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
Because this gives you no counter. All you're doing is triggering and drawing 2 cards, discarding 1. It's Desert Sparta, but worse.
yeah.
Like
Gotcha.
all it is.
Yeah,
So that's
awesome.
my one. Unfortunately, the Blurple Croc player couldn't make it today, but I do have his deck list with me.
Okay.
So I can go through that one.
Yeah, 100%, man. Would really
Um,
love to see
it,
see what it's about.
he's on the phone. If I can show it, I can. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Looks like
Let's see.
it's a bit bright.
No, it's not working.
It's not
Damn.
working. Yeah.
Um, Essentially, all it is, you got the Croc leader. We know what Croc leader does. Draws a card if you got play an event card with 5 or less cards in hand.
Yeah.
Great card. 2 7 cost king that kills a 3 cost or a 2 cost. Yeah, 4 of the 7 cost crocodile that reduces cost of event cards by 1 in hand and is banished. 2 of the 6 cost king that kills a 4 or less. 1 of the rush queen because why not? That's a funny
Run
card.
of the Rush Queen. You know what?
It's a funny card.
Yeah, I 100% agree because when I was like rocking Kaido in the beginning, man, I would run literally just like a 2 of that just for shits and gigs.
Yeah, at
See how
Treasure
it
Cup, I
run.
ran 1 queen in my Kaido deck because I thought it was funny, and it won me a game. So very, very fun deck. Very,
I
very fun
bet
card.
your opponent was like, "Yeah, I wasn't expecting that."
They weren't. They were not at all. They were very upset.
Yeah, they would have.
He runs 4 of the Boa Hancock blockers. As we know, it's just a Don times 1 on attack or on block. If you have 5 less in hand, draw a card. It's a
Beautiful.
5 cost.
Yeah.
So Flamingo blocker, yeah, just look at the top 5 and rearrange them, which is really, really big for Crocodile because then you can see what you're actually drawing and start going in with, like harder plays. So you can stack your All Sundays, stack your Double Fingers, stack your Level Up Beams. It's really, really good. Next 4 cards is the Missile Sundays. They're probably the best card in the deck, I feel, because you can just keep recycling Love Mellows or Desert Spiders or even Blast Breaths. And they're
Yeah.
massive. You can resolve 8 Love Mellows in a game if you have all 4 of these in hand, which is really, really cracked. 4 Double Fingers, so just on KO draw a card. So people either never KO it or they KO it early, and you're always getting a draw off of it anyway. So good card.
Awesome.
4 of the Mr. 2, the Bon Clay, is just a 2k counter, but you can play him. So when attacking, actually, you can look at top 5, and that Baroque works. event card, which you never do because it's not worth it.
Yep.
You do have 4 of the 2 cost Velveeta, just a 2k counter. The effect doesn't matter, so we're not going to go into it. 4 Love Mellow, as we know, with 3 cards in hand, you draw a card.
Yeah.
When it's used, you draw another one of Crocs. You go to you +2 base or +1 basically. So you can do that across hit the first play A's turn and play B's turn. So you're drawing 4 cards across 2 turns, which is really really good. 3 of the Trafalgar Law Blocker, just the 1 cost 1k.
Yep.
3 Desert Sparta. Of course, you just to your counter for 1. Top 3, you rearrange it in any order, top or bottom. And then the trigger is draw 2, discard 1. The Baroque Works event card, you top 5 for a Baroque Works type card other than Baroque Works and add it to your hand and bottom deck them. So you can play Baroque Works, add a card, then draw a card off of leader. And then 3 Blast Breath, Dom -1 +4k. You draw a card off that as well, thankfully. And then you also got 2 Judgment of Hell. Dom -1, give 2 characters -3k for the turn. And then the trigger, if your opponent has 6 or more Don, your opponent returns 1 Don from their field to the Don deck. And that's the deck basically.
Cool. No worries. Well, what I'll do is as well is we'll put up like a nice little like a list or something so people can just have a good look at that too, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Comments or something, and yeah, that's awesome. So that was everything from the Buddy Battles event, which is huge. I think that was a good win. Congratulations again, man. Was it? And also, like, how was the prices as well? Was it pretty good?
Yeah, essentially we
That
just
sort of
worked it out
thing?
because we just do the store owner. We
Yeah.
you get double winner cards, so we both got a winner card each.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
got Frankie, which is pretty cool for Alvita. Sorry for VV in like 2 sets. So
Awesome. Yeah.
and yeah, so just 2 winner cards. You get your packs, you get an all promo pack, and that was it basically. It was just the normal locals, but we did buddy battles instead.
Yeah.
And we think it's a great format, so we're going to be doing it once a month. It's the second Saturday of every month we'll be doing it, and we're all looking forward to it. We thought it was an amazing event.
Have you guys thought about maybe streaming the games as well, or have that just kind of
Bit
like?
hard. We just don't
Yeah.
have the room. It's a very small shop, so
Mm.
we're fitting 26 people in, but it is incredibly tight.
Yeah.
And we just don't have the setup for it, so it's a bit harder to stream it. But if we were able to, I would definitely be looking at doing that.
Yeah, understandable. That's awesome, man. Well, it's great. Thank you for sharing the deck profiles, man, with us. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on your win again. That's huge. So yeah, guys, remember if you like this, remember to jump on, give us a subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified, and as always, we will see you on the next one. Thanks, Ty.
Thanks.